Hey, hey, beautiful people. It is 2/2/2019 at 9:19 a.m. This is mighty fitting for persons who know and comprehend numerology as well as the book of Revelation 13:18, that describes the 666 or the carbon molecule, as well as the Merkaba. It depends on whichever consciousness level that you are addressing that from. Also know that 666 has a alternate numerology, which is 616, and 919 is the reverse of the 616 on 2/2/2019, which is that's an 11/11, a 2/2 day, 11/11 day. That's actually quite fitting. There were many persons that decided to dislike my last video with a lack of understanding, I'm quite certain, and I am also quite certain that these persons do not comprehend the reality of what's going on. That this whole experience here on Earth begins with our consciousness, and it really begins with polarity, and it forms the consciousness of an experience being created, which is slowed into light, which is slowed into sound, which is slowed into the emotion, which crosses the soul field into the material existence, and then you've got your connection with everybody at that fourth dimensional sacral chakra, and you've got to be grounded to earth and by the sky for the polarities, for creating the experience. That's I mean, you are in an electromagnetic body, just like this is an electromagnetic Earth, an electromagnetic solar system, electromagnetic galaxy. It's like a DC permanent motor. And with DC, you have polarity. In my last video, I was talking about soul mitosis of the twin flames, and how we have just now been granted soul mitosis by the high councils. That video I posted was 2 days ago, and yesterday across the world, persons that channel through cards the 5D consciousness grid into the 3D Earth in the tarot readings of all the twin flames, the opposite polarities that are supposed to balance out the divine masculine and the divine feminine within self of both twin flames, and then they come together as two whole pieces to create a new Earth experience. How the masculine, not divine masculine yet, how the masculine has not been doing the work, but those in the divine feminine have now evenly anchored the divine masculine and the divine feminine within their physical vessel. Not necessarily needing that other twin flame, but it was that love of that other twin flame that activated us to do this. We've been telling this experience for a long, long, long time. There's an imbalance going on because those that are of the twin flame masculine consistently around the world, except for those ones that are already in divine union, consistently around the world, they're going, nah, fuck you, we're not going to do our work, we're going to have all our material stuff, and we can use the light that our twin flames have made, and we can use that to create whatever we want, and fuck them. And that's created a great imbalance around this planet. Well, there's going to be several videos that I will post below this video when I publish it to YouTube. And the first 3 are going to be about the soul contracts being broken, as I spoke of, granted by the high councils 2 days ago. Yesterday, that reading from the grid all over this planet was exactly what I said. Now, try to comprehend what's going on here, because it's all about polarities and it's all about imbalance of polarities. And that's why we need to disconnect this cording, because we've done our work and you've got a complete imbalance of light of the divine feminine that's done their work and the divine masculine, which is way down here. It's just like those two radio stations on the same broadcasting frequency at broadcasting different wattages, then you can't hear the one that's of the lower frequencies. It's an impossibility. So it's created an imbalance because the other twin flame has not done their work, has not acknowledged the contract, and we have to free ourselves of this. What's going to happen? I have no idea. But today, Ben Davidson has done, Suspicious Observers, has done another one of his highly scientific reviews on the magnetic pole shift. The polarities are magnetic. Get it? The polarities inside us are magnetic. Get it? Staying in the left brain, right brain is magnetic. Good, bad, heaven, hell, us, them, light, dark, you, me, male, female. The only singularity and the balance is found within the heart. But the masculines are not becoming divine and doing that, so that we're totally out of frequency. We don't even see each other anymore. And here's the cool thing for those persons that want to know about twin flames. Synchronicities are so beyond description that when my twin flame and I were in love at the same vibration, I could not go any place in this town and not see her at a stoplight, not see her at a store, not see her, in traffic right beside me. I could think about where to meet me, and there she would be, because we were on the same frequencies. We were sharing the same frequencies. Well, as we activated by their love, we took off, and they rode, and they really got into the brain game trying to figure out how to save themselves in this material world at a time where they should have been realizing that divine doesn't give a damn about the material world. What happens when a magnetic pole shift happens in the positive, that's the North Pole, is trying to go to the South Pole, and the South Pole is trying to go to the North Pole, and at a certain point that it's going off, it's like an egg, like a weeble that cannot remain centered in its vertical axis, and it's going to shift. Think about the planet, and we have a crust on the planet sitting on top of a molten magma of iron and nickel, which creates the electromagnetic fields, the north and south, on this planet. As above, so below. When we are shifting our frequencies, that is affecting the planet. It is not coming through the planet and causing us to shift our frequencies. It's hand in hand, just like the infinity sign. It is one and the same. When we shift our consciousness here on Earth, when we join together to bring in the end times, we change our position in the galaxy. It's the same. Come on, people. Don't you get this stuff? It's very, very simple. It is how creation works. The 666 can be looked at as the 616, which was the time that I just started today. That is the clearing of the old energies. That is the separation of the material from the physical. It's not trying to be balanced in this material world. See, when you look at the New Age community, there's a lot of yoga people out there. There's a lot of people in natural foods. My family's in natural foods. We help people over their physical ailments, but a lot of that community is not truly in the New Age. They're not about the consciousness. They do not comprehend polarity and physicality and how this whole thing works. As above, so below. As in our body, so without. As in our body, so is the planet, so is the universe. It is the same thing. You've got to do your work. Divine masculine is not doing their work. So we would counsel Elohim, and some people call it Elohim. We called it Elohim in long ago, and it really doesn't matter. It's just a frequency. I had so many people messaging me over my last video and saying, I want to know more about all this, that I'd spend weeks just trying to respond to the answer. So let me try to make a video on it. Those of us who are going to be listening to this video, going to be getting this message, who hold the divine feminine frequencies, who are going through their ascension process, but may not have connected all their levels back up to Prime Creator, you have to understand how we descended into this physicality to comprehend how to ascend back to Prime Creator, back to Source. You're going through the polarities that you separated from. And you separated at one level here. It's like Prime Creator separates into the 8 Eternals. The 8 Eternals creates different experiences called multiverses and sectioning off their creations. Metatron is the creator of this multiverse. 1111. Metatron, when he creates a universe, it's a void at first, and then the archangels come through the highest levels of frequency in this universe, and Metatron is actually in its smaller fractal, one of them. All your archangels arcing you, bridging the gap from the void into the experience. The arcs, thank you, Magenta Pixie, is how creation works. You have 2 polars, you have an arc of the magnetism between. Come on, people, let's get technical about this stuff so you can comprehend. I am a Melchizedek mechanic. Do you comprehend what a Melchizedek is? It's the mechanics of creation that I'm trying to describe here so that you can get it. And some of this is for the divine masculines, if you can watch 1212 on 22. 12 times 12 is 144,000. 12,000 times 12 times 12 is 144,000. The 12,000 of each of the 12 tribes of the Israelites. And that's what Revelation is all about. We're all coming from the stars. We're all having a physicality experience that has become vastly imbalanced. Well, back to Ben Davidson and suspicious observers. There are many scientists now, because there's a lot of light worker scientists out there, and we're spiritual scientists. That's what I am. I'm just not focused on the details of the smaller stuff, because I'm here to tell you how the larger stuff works so you can create your own reality with ease. So you can be the Master Wizard, the Merlin, the Gandalf, the Christ being, which is out of that duality and plurality. It's not the extremes way out here. See the fingertips? When you put them way out here, look at that balance you got to maintain. You're not doing that. That's what you do in the brain game. When you're in the heart, that balance is right here. What does this mean? What does that mean? Where's the space of the balance between there in the heart? Do you get it? Do you get why you do this? Comprehend? All right, peeps. What's going down on planet right now is we've got a severe imbalance in the poles of this planet, because the divine feminine has really fired up and the divine masculine has not. It's going, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I went through my death process yesterday and I'm back up to par. And I told you I was going to do that in that video. I had to literally go into meditation and state that I love my twin flame dearly. But just like the last 3 cycles, this does not work. When you have a flip of the crust, the magnetic crust of this planet, what do you think is going to happen? There's going to be a big wave come in. Remember my videos about, me wearing my crystal at the fall of Atlantis, and as we power down the temple crystals and buried them around the planet so Team Dark couldn't get them, put them in places that They still hadn't found. And so we could consciously power them up this time for this round of the end times, the final conclusion to these 4 Earth cycles, because we were supposed to have completed it in 1515, and I'm 1515. That's a good one for my twin flame right there. Think about that one, baby doll. This was supposed to be the completion and going into New Earth without having the pole shift, with all of us being in balance, both the divine masculine and divine feminine. Once we've removed the patriarchal of Team Dark, and look at what Trump's doing. Last night, on 2/1/2012, not only on 2/1/2012 was it verified that those of us that went before the high councils have now been granted permission to remove this union with twins that are not addressing their twin flame contract. We can love them, but those cords are dissolving now. And yesterday, I went through a death process. You have to ask. It's not going to be done for you. You have to ask, and you have to work on shrinking those cords that connect you to your twin flame. That hurt. That hurts a lot. See, twin flame, how do you know what's coming from you and what's coming from your twin flame? When you are in your heart, you're not in your head, you can feel. And when you're in your heart, you can tell the emotions that are coming from the exterior of the surface of that heart. If you are having negative thoughts and you can feel that inside your heart, you know it's coming from you. If it's on the exterior of your heart, just like here's your heart right here. Yeah, that's a good one. Here's your heart right here. If it's coming from the inside right here, then that's you. If it's coming just from the outside through the cording from your twin flame to you through any of your chakras or through your heart, then that's your twin flame, or that's the external experience. That's how you can determine the difference. Is it you and your creation and your solidarity, or is it coming from the exterior and being projected? I went in and found, those hurts are not coming from me. They're coming from the exterior. There's screams going, no, don't do this. Well, we've been through this for 4 cycles now. Enough is enough. All the divine masculines had to do is say, I surrender. I want to be on this path. I love you. I want to join in divine union, even though they might be with somebody else in a different relationship. The divine feminine knows they've been fucking around for however long, right? It's all third-party relationships. Every single one of them for 70% of the light workers around this planet. 1818. So we had to do something about it because in our heart, we're going through a pole shift because we've got this issue with divine feminine. The planet is doing it too. Everything is doing it. It's how reality works. As above, so below. So with the shrinking of the cords, I felt a very staunch pain, and I know my twin flame knows what I'm doing. It's not that I want to do it. It's not a punishment. We have got to stop our bleeding. What happened when that wave came in at the fall of Atlantis? Well, I described how I had on a necklace. I was one of the Altar Ra. The wave's coming in. It's time to go. My twin flame, again, is not activated. She's getting ready to die. I take off my necklace. Boom! I activate it. I set it down. There's a double helix blue vortex. The ship, Thoth ship, Jehovah's ship, comes and picks us up. People cannot comprehend how you can get so many thousands of people aboard a single, what appears to be very small ship. It's biodynamic. It expands. It is bioorganism, although it's a consciousness being too. It is a living ship. It can expand or pixie dust to bring us smaller so we can fit in space. It is not a problem. The ships can carry thousands of people. my dear friend and Tinkerbell Trish Will used to film the ships just above the mountains where she was in Slocum City. At the top of the mountain, she'd film a ship that looks like a star on the outside, and then all of a sudden it's coming down the mountain and through the woods and literally comes into her hand. How do you have a ship that's above that 14,000 foot mountain where she's sitting at about 6,000 or 7,000 feet? How do you film that, what would be a huge ship? How does it get smaller and smaller and smaller and come down the mountain and fit in the palm of her hand? Answer that question. Okay, now you can start to comprehend about the ships. The ships are sitting, Jehovah's ship is sitting below the Sphinx in Egypt at the Great Pyramids. I've explained that story many a time. That ship was used to take us out of here, all the original 144,000 souls at the fall of Atlantis, so that we can continue into the cycle that we're just now completing. This period, we don't need the technologies like we had last period. If this divine masculine, divine feminine imbalance does not get resolved, and see what's happening as that balancing of the divine masculine and feminine occurs within the twin flames that have done their activation work and are in service to humanity. As they clear up that negativity, they're building up more and more light. That light is inside the skin suit. 3D eyes only sees this body, but fourth dimensional sees suns, stars. Therefore, walking star, my Native American name, indigenous name. This time, we don't need those technologies like my little crystal I had. This time, as this shift unfolds, if there is a wave, the way we get picked up is by our light quotient. And we will be seen by the ships and removed, extracted 2222, extracted from planet 2222 on 2/2/2019. And 20 plus 1 is 9. You start to see numerologies. Ben Davidson just did his videos on the pole reversal. We have got 2 magnetic norths and 2 magnetic souths. We are quadrupolar on this planet like we used to be on the sun as we're beginning this pole reversal. The sun is not going to necessarily flip like that. If it did, we really couldn't tell it here because it looks the same throughout the sun, just like you would see one of us unembodied. We're just a spherical ball of light. Well, you can't see it on the sun, but you're witnessing it here on Earth. And right now they're having to reprogram the GPS systems and the airports and everything else around this planet because of this magnetic shift, so that as planes can land and they're putting in the coordinates in their computer system so that they can autopilot land, they've got to be dead on that magnetic north to know exactly the direction that that plane is going to hit and go into for its landing so it doesn't run off the runway. That's the same thing with us as being humans. We've got to have that balance and that coordinates of the true magnetics so we don't run off of our own runway. And so we can stay balanced, so we can have a safe landing. Well, that's what has happened with this twin flame masculine not coming up to the plate. And we have got a major imbalance in the polarities going down right now. And as above, so below, as in, so without. And it's got to be resolved. It's not being resolved by then. So we went to the high councils. We at 2444. Man, it's just like, why do you look down and right at that moment, that instant, There's your numerology. It could have been at any other time. We would have missed it. So we're getting ready to go through a pole shift. And what's going to happen, we don't know. Is it going to be a crust reversal? We are at 36 degrees, almost 37 degrees. We're on the sphere that is Earth, and we're sitting at about 3.5 degrees in our tilt because of what happened at the fall of Atlantis. And that is creating all this polarity because we're not centered vertically, we're not spinning properly, so we've got an imbalance in polarity, and that's the tilt of the Earth itself, which was created by us. And the Anunnaki, it was an imbalance of the frequencies of everybody here on planet, the Anunnaki, humans, everybody, the ETs, and everybody that was on planet at that time. We are doing that again, and it might be a quick cleanup of this planet. We were trying to figure out how we could build everything anew and physically go out there and clean up the planet, and it might just be a quick, it's gone. That's just like last time. That really sucks. We've got the technology not to have that happen, but it's the polarities it's the imbalance between the polarities that can cause this. So, okay. It's nothing but a thing. We roll with the flow. Oh, man, what a hoot. All right. So we are at about 36 degrees off centers where the magnetic pole is sitting in. At 40 degrees, the whole thing goes like that, and we completely flip. That was projected in 2017 to be in 2024, the year in 2024 that would happen, and we had, it looked like we might be able to do something about this issue for a long time, but now with the divine masculine not stepping into their divine role as being divines, the polarities have got to balance. It's like a teeter-totter. I mean, it's if it's not this way, it's going to go like that or like that, and that's what happened. And the Earth's poles has got to do that too, and because there's no balance on the other side. You see, can you comprehend? You'll into your heart. You comprehend what I'm saying. You will know. You will know. You only there can you understand and comprehend the mechanics of how this game works, because it's very simple. Very simple. Ascension mastery is the easiest thing you can do. It's the ultimate balance. And when it's not done, when you have that much light on the planet, that this whole army of divine feminines is created to realign and reposition ourselves within the galaxy to have more light. When you do that, and there's an imbalance because divine masculine is not doing their job, you're going to flip out. And that's what's happening. There's going to be a real big flip out coming down real soon. And now it's not 2024. It's happening much, much, much faster because of the imbalance. And those of us divine feminine, we're being held back. We are literally bleeding out. The cards told my last video, the tarot card readers on the twin flames yesterday, the day after I made my video, literally told my story. It was in the cards about the new contracts, about the cutting of the cords, about, this is it, about it's done. So there it is. So have it. Divine masculines can still fix this problem. They can. It's only when you have that pole reversed that it's gone that you can't fix that problem. It's difficult to breathe life into you when you're dead. Why not get it when you're alive? Okay. So, wow. So, the soul mitosis is proceeding. Doesn't mean we don't love our other half. I mean, good God, greatly. but we cannot be balled and chained to a planet that's getting ready to go flip by these persons who are not acknowledging their contract, doing their work. Okay, so be it. It's done. It will be completed by the end of this year. That was 30-0-0, right as I looked down. The 3, the Trinity. It was supposed to be divine masculine, divine feminine, and the Father, anchored to the Mother, literally creating a diamond. It's the Trinity that creates the diamond. But that hadn't happened. And the divine feminine is now doing it with itself. We cannot balance out this. We cannot balance out what's going to happen on the planet without the masculine part of the twin flames. It's an impossibility. They've got to do their work. They got to step up to the plate. And anyway, those of the twin flames don't need to worry. When the ships are activated because of our light that we have created and generated because of our frequencies, when you rise above Earth from a 4th and 5th dimensional perspective, from the astral perspective, and you're looking into it, you can see all the stars walking around, and it's the stars that will be removed from the planet while the magnetics flip. And will there be a wave? Do we start over? This might be what Trump, Trump. All these people don't like Trump. And you think, oh, he's so egotistic, blah, blah, blah. He's playing divine feminine in this Team Dark, Team Light game. And I think it's so funny because the persons in the opposite polarity, the persons who are identifying with the destruction, say, no, it's those guys that are doing it. Yeah, we are. And Trump is holding literally goddess empress energies in the divine feminine, just like I do. And isn't that a freaking hoot, huh? I wonder what his and Melania's relationship are. I don't know. I hadn't looked into it, but that would be a good one to look at. But anyway, it's this imbalance is on all levels. It is the global Team Light, Team Dark, as they're losing their power. It's our divine, it's the twin flame counterparts. If they're not divine, then and doing their mission. And that's the same imbalance as the global patriarchy of Team Dark in these last thousands of years since the fall of Atlantis. That's what created this most massively polarized experience, the enslavement of Earth in the minds of all the masters, because everybody on this planet is an ascended master. That's 3303 as I look down. They're not yet 3333, but everybody on this planet is a master. They're an ambassador from their collective they come from. Whatever planet, whatever solar system throughout this galaxy, they are the lightest of the light, the ones that have ascended from that planet here on Earth to have an experience of the Earth Ascension, 3333, and that's very critical right there. So they can have at their planet an experience of this central point, the center point of the center point of the center point of the experience within this Milky Way galaxy. Uranus right here. We don't know what's going to happen because we're at that point of the end times. We're at that point of we're seeing a magnetic shift. What happens afterwards? I mean, how do we do it without the opposite polarity playing the divine masculine? If there's an imbalance, then what's it going to look like as we go through this? Because it's being created for us. Oh, shit. That's when you can say, we've lost control. Houston, we got a problem. Elohim, can you see what's going on here now? 3443, the reflection. It's also the complete polar opposite polarity. We have a major imbalance. My little brother's coming back to life. Last night, my family, 4 brothers and our mother, went out to listen to my youngest brother in his band, Rochambeau, who's just, they're just incredible. You talking about some incredible musicians and masters of their own. Now, they cannot comprehend. One of them follows my work here on Facebook and is going, I know something's different, but my own brother, he goes, that brother's nuts. We get along in other things, other ways, but he's found his 0 point, his mastery in his music, and that's in his heart, but he can't realize what I'm expressing about the mastery, about being in your heart. He's doing it, but he doesn't know he's doing it. He's found his 0 point without being in the brain game. What makes him so good is the passion from his heart when he picks up that guitar and he's in his own little world and having telepathy with other people and band members. Boy, they're good. And these guys are getting it without knowing all the details that I'm explaining to you, because I'm a Melchizedek mechanic. And so it's interesting to see how it works. But our divine counterparts are still in their head, and they're trying to play in this material world and all the survival, and they're trying to say, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you to the divine feminines in the relationship, that we don't need to be together with you. We can be with somebody with a bunch of money and stay focused on this life. Well, that's about this life. That light that's within me, that's many, many lives. 10,000 lives I've been on this planet that I just had to clear up from. That was a lot of work. That's a whole lot of work. It didn't just start this lifetime. I was clearing up from that in my last lifetime, in the 1870s, when I was in Colorado. And I was having those memories when I was 7 years old this lifetime. Well, I was clearing back then. And because I held the light, I was murdered because I didn't believe in the gold. And I was Ballard then. And I lived in Cripple Creek, Colorado, and I owned quite a bit of the land. And the gold rush came in. I was a goat herder. And the gold rush came in, and everybody wanted the gold, and they didn't just want the land. And I held a high amount of light, and Team Dark made sure that light was extinguished so their materialism can go on. And this time, we do not get murdered. Once we've been activated, we're there. But we've got this huge imbalance with our twin flame counterparts, which is creating a polar imbalance. And it's going to be resolved. And all the information that I stated in my last video about the twin flame soul mitosis, well, the details of that I'm telling you are not in those videos, but that there is a soul contract, and that contract's ending, and that new contracts can be made, and that the readers are going, oh shit. The twin flame unions with the masculines that are not there, we're at the last breath. That's it. The recording is getting squeezed off. I told you. You want to see magic? I'm showing you magic. How many times do I tell you how this reality works and you still question it? I do not do this out of upset. I do it out of understanding. Understanding creation and how reality works. And I've been trying to teach it. And so many people think that God is doing this and they have no power. Well, they do have power. And that's why we have an imbalance, because they do not acknowledge their power. And a few of us holding the light can overcome a lot that holds the dark. I mean, you go in a cave with a big lighter and you light up the walls of everything in there. And that's just one big lighter. Well, light up 144,000 of us, and then however many's come since, because so many we've got millions, if not billions, that are awakened on the planet right now. And that's funny, they're awakened, but they're not all activated. And so is those of us who came here in the know. We might have been the ones creating the imbalances because we took off like this and the light's here, so it's got to do this. You know, it's got to go to magnetics. It's got to have pole reversal. Oops. Oh man, well, we saw that coming and we didn't know how it was going to play out, but it is playing out. And those of us holding the highest light and frequencies, we hadn't got to worry. If the wave comes through again, like Atlantis, will be picked up again, just like then. But you haven't got to worry about having the technology just like that necklace that I had on, because your light is all you need. That's it. You got to call the ship in. You got to, program it. Beacon, send out your beacon. That's with your light through your consciousness. It's right here. Boom. So don't worry about that. But how we deal with what's coming up, I don't yet know. The answers aren't there. I'm just expressing what's going down with this soul mitosis with the Elohim. And let me go back to Elohim. Many people were asking about the Elohim, and I did not finish that conversation. When Metatron fractalizes into the archangels, and the archangels literally descend down. Well, just below the archangels is our higher selves that has bits and pieces of a recipe of the parts and pieces of ingredients of the various archangels to make that part of us different from everybody else. That's literally how we are different. At the archangel level, we're pure, but that next level down, it's like in my case, it's 90% of this, 2% of that archangel, 1% of that, 0.5% of that type thing. A lot of them I'm not really as a Michael, but in my higher state, I'm not really identified with. But that level of us on the higher density, because that is what density is. You think dimension, well, dimension can allow you to communicate with that dimensional level, but the atomic structure at that dimensional level below the archangels is still so far expanded that we are great, vast beings. I mean, the expansion of who we are at that level is universal. It can hold all the galaxies, the 100 trillion galaxies in this universe within its hands. And then we have the angels, which can hold the Milky Way galaxy in its hands. Just like we as the light workers, the way that we do our work is to envision the planet and Earth in our hands as we shine the light. It's easier to be that bigger being of us shining the light on this planet than to be these little human bodies on this planet going, I'm trying to shine the light outwards and I've only got this area right here. 4311, tricks of the trade. It's very easy when you're holding the planet in your hands and you, from that perspective, density expansion, can hold the planet Earth in your hands and shine light and love to humanity. And you can feel it coming in because it's like this, like that. As above, so below. That's how consciousness works. So the Elohim are that level of us that really defines within each galaxy. You've got 100 trillion galaxies with similar experiences within each one of those 100 trillion galaxies. You can call those galaxies local universe. You can also term the solar system as the local universe. But I consider the local universe this Milky Way galaxy, and that which was created by the higher elements of Yeshua, Jesus. He is the Michael of this universe. The clarion call was because this universe was too light, it was too pure, it was too perfect, so we could have the duality experience. It could not ascend because it was unbalanced in the lightness. It didn't have the polarity to come to that point of ascension. And the Elohim, that level of us on the universal level, heard the call to come ascend this galaxy. And the men in dark literally created the portal. The men in black literally created the portal into the Orion constellation next to where the gray ETs were. And that is how those of us that heard the clarion call as we were in our angelic selves came through the Arcturian corridor into the light being self that is eternal within our galaxy, that's always overseeing us in the physicality here. That's why it came into being, and then through our light body sent a fractal of ourselves through and into the heart centers of those men in black so we could hold the dark crystal and experience duality. That's how an angel comes from the light descending into this reality, and the removal of those dark crystals allowed for the ending of the divine feminine's duality experience, so that we could activate and ascend ourselves, which at the same time ascends the planet, as above, so below. We are all part of the councils of Elohim. If you go working your way back up the soul just before you hit your archangelic, at that layer, because it's a layer, it's like a nacre on a pearl. It's layers of energy, layers of dimensions, layers of consciousness. Comprehension and understanding of how each layer works is the mechanics of it. Melchizedek mechanic. Get it? Get it? Get it? Okay. And so we're very imbalanced here. And we went to the high councils and asked for resolution, and that was what my last video was about. And we got a global confirmation yesterday, and with that we have a very huge imbalance in magnetics, and therefore we have an extreme magnetic pole shift unfolding, and it has to do directly with the masculine and the feminine within the twin flame unions. How do we save this planet? Well, maybe it's time for everybody to go home. And maybe a big wave is needed for those who need to drop their body so that they can, in that higher density of being unembodied, return home. Archangel Michael will help, just like all the dark beings. There's many people that are seeing these dark shadows at night ever since the first this year, ever since we came into these higher frequencies. Those shadows that you're seeing, the dark spots, the dark clouds, the pinpoint blackness, it's not blue light or, white light or golden light or whatever. Those are souls, divas, energy forms that you're seeing with your 3D eyes that is of another dimension that cannot handle these frequencies, and they have been attacked since the fall of Atlantis, since the dimensions were collapsed between the two. All the realities, all the layers of higher realities, the dimensions were collapsed, and the fourth dimension bled into 3D. They attached themselves to people's physical bodies. That's what we've been purging for so long. That's what past life regression is all about. That's what the clearing of our own beings and our families and the earthwork, the grid work, that's what all that is about. As of December 31st, 2018 and January 1st, 2019, we are in the new earth frequencies. Those entities that came in through that cannot remain in this. They're going, please, 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 balance. Right here. There's no polarity out here. It's balanced here. They're coming to us and they're asking us, please help us back to our homes. And that's what light workers are doing now. They're being released from people in physicality, from the stuff around here, from wherever, from the rock, the substrate of the earth, the lower dimensional, lower vibrating entities that aren't supposed to be here, that came in at the fall of Atlantis when the technology that Team Dark was using then allowed this dimensional barrier to break down. those entities are coming home and saying, please help us. They're coming to us and they're saying, please help us. We want to go home. We don't belong in these frequencies that you are elevating into. We really belong in a lower frequency. There's no real above or below. There is a measurement of frequency and light quotient. It's not a good or bad thing. It's a level of consciousness thing. It's a soul experience thing. And all those consciousness have polarities, and that polarity is now imbalanced to such an extreme, the dark ones cannot even remain here. And so we release them to my higher self, Archangel Michael, and they're escorted home to whatever density, dimension, universe, alternate universe, timeline. We're shifting our timeline and our physicality and our experience on this planet. That cannot remain. In order to physically build the new earth, to take us into what's going to happen these next 1,000 years, and 1,000 years from now, and hopefully a lot sooner, we can have a density shift. The true, at that very little part of the Bible, when in Revelation, when John the Beloved, John the Light, John the Bright, the light, the bright, get it? Oh, it's John the Light, John the Beloved, it's one and the same. When John the Beloved wrote Revelation, he was describing what happens 1,000 years from now, and how it is a density difference, how it's an etheric situation, and that's what's going to happen when all of us have cleaned out all the polarity within self, and we are on our spaceship. Earth is our spaceship. Instead of having Jehovah's ship, which is below the Sphinx, Earth is our much larger spaceship now. And ever since 1987, we've been steering the ship. Those of us who have been doing this work are steering the ship to the center point, to heaven. Center point, the great, great, great central sun in the 5151 is like that. Great, great, great central sun that's at that galactic plane. In the center of it looks like a big UFO. And we're way out here. Well, we're going to the center. That's why the Milky Way is actually expanding as we go closer and closer. We've been steering this ship with all the frequency increases since harmonic convergence of 1987. You can see it in the stars. It doesn't, scientists don't have to tell you what's happening. You can look and see. They're trying to go, no way, we're going away. Consciousness creates the reality. It comes from spirituality into the physicality. Well, I guess Mother Earth is getting ready to do purging in a different way. Wow. There's, millions of ships that's in Earth's atmosphere right now. Many of us all throughout the solar system, all throughout Jupiter, and there's so many ships here. You can see them coming out of the sun, the portal of the sun, as they come through the wormholes from other constellations and other planetary systems into the solar system. There's so many ships here. They're waiting to do something. What it's going to be this time, I don't know. We haven't arrived at his story yet. 5333. The whole thing is divine hoot, man. It's really wow, what an amazing game we play. And to be conscious of it. But we don't we're not at what's going to happen in 1,000 years when we arrive at the center of that Milky Way galaxy and we go through a density shift. We're not there yet. So right now it's really, rather than up to the individual, it's up to the collective of individuals more so. So as we continue on our journey, and what's getting ready to happen, I have not got a clue, but it's going to happen. 1010. Artemis. Tom Miller, I've been telling about the 1010, and here it is 22, and telling about the 1010 again. And that 1010 I've been seeing everywhere. It is just, you know, when you see the synchronicities and the numerologies, it's beyond magical. And there's signs. It's going, hey, that which brought you in on this sign, Artemis dying at 1010, Hurricane Michael coming from Artemis, 1010, George Bush executed, 1010. Artemis coming to me saying, you're going to be a father, 1010. Since then, I went to see Claudia Moreno and doing some more past life regression. All the way up there, it's 1010, 1010, 1010. Last night, 1055 as I'm looking down, 1010. It's everywhere. The other side is constantly communicating with us. Can you hear the messages? Can you see the messages? Can you acknowledge the messages? Do you think you're in control and God's doing this? Well, that's what the religions have done to this planet. Second Thess says, let no man tell you what the meaning of the words of this book is. Study and prove yourself worthy. Well, look at the divine feminine out there. They understand what's going on. Here we're coming up to 55 right now. And 1010. And so at this point, we just have to surrender. Anybody needing to contract their cording with their twin flame, that's been granted, so that we can dissolve the old contracts that's been going on for the original 144,000. It's since Earth School began. It's literally since we first took, well, even before we took human form on this planet. And when we first took human form, we were mantis beings. I was, and I've talked to many out there who remember too. And we were trying to figure out what type bodies we were going to use before we came into the humanoid forms. And the Anunnaki are not bad. They helped create these forms, which work with the divine as electromagnetic tools that we have to use to communicate with the higher levels of consciousness. That's what this particular body is all about. It's an Earth transportation mechanism. It's a giant computer to create the reality of the experience that we're having here on Earth. The mechanics of using it. Be a Melchizedek mechanic. You all are. You all are. There's nobody that's going to be listening to this video that is not connected with Prime Creator, not connected with Elohim, not a Melchizedek, not an Ascended Master. There's nobody that would watch this video that is not. And look how the censorship, look how my video count is getting less and less and less. More esoteric I go. The higher I go in what I tell. Some of it gets cut out because people here are not supposed to hear it. Like my talks about Lucifer and Archangel Michael and how creation works. Some people are not supposed to hear that. They're supposed to know it. When they shift out of here, they do this, they go through the expansion, the higher levels of self. Then you come to the wisdom of how this reality works. You come to magic. You cannot have that magic and that light without doing your work. That's why we've got an imbalance here on the planet. Otherwise, you would do things that could destroy the planet because you are not controlling your thought and emotion, your mental and your emotional body. And so controlling the mental and emotional body, as well as the reprogramming of the physical body and all the negativity from all these past lives that we have, then that is directly related to how large, expanded the light quotient of the light body that you have overlaying that which is in here, the star that you are. Okay, I've said enough. Last video, I just kept on talking and it ran over time. I've only got 60 minutes here, otherwise I got to do a bunch of work, so that's enough. Anyway, everything is perfect and in divine order for the Pleiades, and that's what us divine feminine have to look at it as. It's in divine order because of the Pleiades being imbalanced. The result of that is going to unfold perfectly. So we see it. We can release it, and love the experience because in the first place, these bodies are not going to die for those of us who don't want to, if you've done your work. The other, you can't speak for them. So anyway, love y'all. Bye for now.